Does your car look like this in any parts of it? Sunspots, faded out clear coat. I'm going to take your car from this to this. I'm going to show you how. This is my first time ever doing this, and I'm going to show you how I did it.
All right, we're gonna do a how-to video. So as you can see, the hood on my van is a 2004. Looks absolutely terrible. It's literally embarrassing everywhere I go. So I am going to sand it down and get a nice uniformed look over it, like the way it's supposed to be. There's the side of it. So I just had the side rebuffed and polished. And I'm also going to try to redo this area too. So this area is going to be a little bit different. I may or may not do the whole panel because the rest of the panel looks fine, but just this little area, I might try to clear coat this. So I'm a first timer at this. Maybe you are too. Just trying to get as many tips and advice as you can. So I've watched many YouTube videos on doing this, and I am likely going to have to take off my entire hood. So I'm in Minnesota right now. So the temperature tomorrow is going to be about 55, 60 degrees. You're supposed to do the whole process. You're supposed to do it when it's above 65 degrees outside. I'm not going to flirt with that. I'm going to actually take this down to my basement, and I'm going to take the hood off, take it down to my basement, and then kind of do it down there in a controlled environment. So I can keep the temperature above 60 degrees down there. But anyway, I'm going to do this whole process. So I'll let you know how it goes, and I'll kind of give you the step-by-step advice on it. So long story short, if you're brand new to this, why is this part faded and why is this still shiny? So the reason for that is this part, all vehicles, or my vehicle, or likely your vehicle, has what's called a clear coat on it. So you have the metal part, and then on top of the metal part, you can see right here is the base paint. The base paint is actually kind of a very matte faded color, or not a shiny color. And there's not a thick layer of it either necessarily, but on top of the base coat is what's called a clear coat. And I'm going to show you this later on. So the clear coat is completely worn off. So to fix that, what essentially you do, and I'm going to have to put a new base coat on like sections like that and everything too. So I'm actually going to sand the clear coat down with some very fine sandpaper. So I'm going to take it out. I'm going to probably do that today, and then tomorrow when it's warmer, I'm going to do the painting. But anyway, you want to sand it down, the clear coat off without going too much into the base coat. And then once you have that done, I'm going to prime it, I'm going to repaint it, and I'm going to put the new clear coat on it. So that's my process today and tomorrow. Anyway, I will keep you guys. Anyway, so that's the process. All right, so the first things I got here is I'm going to wash down the top of this with some soapy water. I just used some dish soap for it because dish soap is good on grease and that type of thing. So dish soap. I also have some, once that's done, I'm going to take some sandpaper. I'm going to start with 800 grit sandpaper. So I bought these online. And then I also have some 600 too. So this part's going to be easier, but then this part is going to be harder because this is still like a nice finished product, nice finished looking hood. But this part's going to be a little bit easier. So I'm going to use 800 grit on this. And I might have to go all the way up to, in case I do, even like some 280 or some 600, some 360 on this part to get this off. I need to get the clear coat, and I need to get down to my base paint. That's my goal. But first I'm gonna do is wash it off and looking nice and get all good, and then rinse it off and probably maybe wash it off again and then rinse it off again. And then I'll start with the sandpaper after that. And tomorrow I'm going to take off the hood, starting tomorrow. And once again, you don't have to take off the hood, you can cover the whole thing. I'm in Minnesota right now. Tomorrow it's supposed to be around 56 degrees. Might be up to 60, but it's supposed to be, I guess, 60 degrees for the paint to dry properly. So that's why I'm going to take off the hood, just because I'm in Minnesota. And it's kind of winterish time, so that's the reason why. And once again, I am a total beginner at this. I'm a total rookie. This is the first one I've ever done, so hopefully I'm doing it correctly. Got everything all washed down thoroughly the way I like it. I'm going to start with 400 grit sandpaper on here, and I have this little pad too. This pad is supposed to be 600. I got it online. Anyway, so I'm going to put the 400 on the 600, and I'm going to do that.
this pad does bend, and anyway, it's my first time doing this, but anyway, I'm going to dive in, so you'll be experiencing this with me. I'm gonna start up here and then work my way down. And I'll probably wet it down a bit too as I'm doing this. This is just to take the rest of the clear coat residue off. That's the whole purpose of this. Just trying to get down to the base coat, the colored base coat. And I'm going to go with 400 just because it's more gritty. And, I have to get this stuff off, this clear coat, or this. I mean, it still looks good down here, so I'm gonna have to take that off. So if I put my hands over here, like this feels rough. Like over here, I mean, it feels rough. But now where I've gone over this, it does feel smoother. Now you want a nice, smooth, even template for this step. And I ordered more sandpaper because obviously this wears out quick and you want to have the gritty part on there. So once again, this is my first time ever doing anything like this. I've never sanded down a paint job on a vehicle before. Here's some of the things I'm experiencing. It is good to have water to kind of, I guess, get away all the little grit that you sanded off. You can actually see the base coat from the clear coat that you're sanding off. That's a good thing. Also, as you're going across, you can feel, go ahead and feel with your hand if you're doing your own vehicle. You can feel the gritty areas and you can feel the smooth areas. You want to have it smooth again. So you can kind of check your own work as you're going through. I was very nervous to start this. I'd never done anything like this. I've watched a ton of other YouTube videos how to do it, but yeah, it is possible to do it. I'm a first timer again. So. All right, I'm gonna switch to 360 grit sandpaper. So this has too much clear coat on it. That's not bad. This is why I have to prime it and put a new base coat on there, stuff like that. Yeah, as I go through and I kind of look at different angles, right here is good, but then I have too much clear coat on this part. So I'm gonna switch to a grittier sandpaper because this is very high glossy. There's a lot of clear coat on there, so I need to get that off. So I'm switching sandpaper to a 360, giving it a try. And the pack I bought has many, many different grips, and I bought 2 packs of them, so I don't have to worry about running out of sandpaper. So 280 seemed to be the right sandpaper for the areas with a thicker clear coat on it to get it off. I went light over it, and then I'd press a little bit, kind of see how it felt, and kind of went light again with the hose, of course. So 280 seemed to be right. I'm now going to switch back to like a 600 or 800. Let's kind of do a whole thing over again. So it is a time-consuming process, but it's a necessary step if you're going to be a do-it-yourselfer at this. I find it out. So, all right, I decided to do an 800. I'm going to do an 800 over this. And the water is nice to have on here sometimes. It creates like a little layer. All right, Van Hood status. So it is the next day. I stopped last night because it got dark, and now next day. All right, so what I did this morning is the water was on here a little bit, like the morning dew, and I got to see different areas that I still had some clear coat on it, so like around the edges and up there. So I took some 400 grit and I just kind of lightly went around it, and now I'm going to give it a little. I have some soapy water, grab my sponge, and I'm going to go around and just get all the little debris off of it, because yeah, it's not very fine residue from the clear coat is on there still, so I don't want any of that on there. I'm also going to work on this section of it. I started to take some sandpaper on it. I'm actually going to take a little blade here and go along here just to kind of clean it up, because I don't want this on here either. I mean, I want this part to look nice and to match this. So today is the day to do it. I'm going to try to do it a little bit on here. I didn't want to do the side panel, but I'm going to have to. I'm going to try to do a makeshift. Anyway, at that point, I'm going to take the hood off, bring it into the basement, and I'm going to work on from there. The reason, once again, why I'm taking it into the basement is because I'm in Minnesota, and it's going to be about 55, maybe 60 degrees today. But
I'm only gonna have limited hours at that time, so that's why I'm taking it off into the basement. Otherwise, yeah, in your area, just wherever you're at, just I guess you can cover the rest of the vehicle. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. And once again, this is my first time doing anything ever like this in my entire life. So I just got a little razor blade and it's kind of going on the edge of the clear coat. And I will sand this down with some nice grit sandpaper too. But yeah, I want to get a nice little edge on here. Once you start, if you're a first timer, once you start doing it, it doesn't feel that bad to do it. You kind of understand what the clear coat is, the base coat is, you'll get a feel for it. Yay, I got my hood off. And now I'm gonna go outside and show you what I'm gonna work on instead. All right, so here's where I'm at. The hood is off, of course. I did not want to do this, but I decided I'm going to fix this area of my van too, because it just looks ugly. And if I'm gonna do all this, this is the day to do it. So I have tack cloth, my mask, my perfect color, prep wipes, and some glass cleaner. So that's what I'm gonna use to, I decided I'm not going to primer this. I am only going to paint it somehow. I'm gonna figure that out on here. And then I'm gonna put on some of the clear coat on this too. All right, back down here in the hood, I made an executive decision. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna prime this first, and then while this is drying, I'm gonna go back outside, and while it's warmer, I'm going to put the red paint on my van. So anyway, this is the moist towelette that it gives you. I have this. I also have some glass cleaner, which is for debris removal. I'm going to use the moist towelette because it's what they gave, and it's so this cleans and degreases the surface. So I take one towelette and I go all the way across here, kind of maybe just give it a minute or so to dry, and then I'm going to put the primer on here all over. All right, wish me luck. I got my painter's mask on. I got my Duplicover Perfect Match Scratch Sealer Primer. And I think we're ready to give her. My first time ever doing anything like this. All right, we got the first coat of primer on. Actually, it wasn't too bad. I got my mask on still. I'm gonna go outside now and figure out what to do with the other section of my van. All right, I have two options with this part and along this little edge. I can either spray paint it and try to spray paint it carefully, or I do have a little vial of matching paint and use this paintbrush with the matching paint and try to go over it. I'm gonna try using this paintbrush and this paint to lightly go over it and see what happens. It's kind of weird seeing my van without a hood on, but I'm going over the area right now with the Duplicolor Prep White Towelette that it came with the cans. This is a pretty good job and it dries very fast. Or I'll be honest, I never thought I was gonna be brushing my van today, so I dipped it in the paint. And now I am really brushing it on here. Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be 1,000 guys that are gonna be like, what are you doing? But you know what? I can always lightly sand it down and then put the clear coat on top of it. I'm also making sure I don't get any of the brush fine things on there. And all this while I am waiting for the first coat of primer to dry. I decided to, just for fun, I'm going to spray just a touch on these areas and see what does it look like. I may or may not have the camera on while I do it, but I'll let you guys know. Yeah, lesson learned. I did try to spray can, and that was a terrible idea. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna put a little bit more of the brush on there, and like, you know, there's so much just overspill. So the spray can was a bad idea. The brush is actually gonna be better. I'm using the brush. The brush is a better idea. So the spray can was a terrible idea. I'm gonna use the brush, and then I'm just gonna lightly sand it down instead. Okay, down here with my hood, and I have the first coat of primer on. I am going to just very lightly go over this. You can feel it. It's I mean, it feels, you know, gritty. I'm gonna go over this with very lightly with some 800 grit sandpaper. So just super, super lightly going over it. First layer is on. Dried, sanded it off with 800. Now I'm taking my little Dupla color prep cloth and just going over it to make sure I don't have any sand residue on it. And then I'll take a towel and go over it again to make sure it's dry. The final coat of primer has been put on. And when you feel it, yeah, it's kind of gritty. It's like it feels a little slightly gritty, the paint. So what I'm going to do now, I finally get to use this glass cleaner. So I watched one video. I have 800 grit sandpaper. I'm going to spray the glass cleaner on, and then I'm going to sand it down just very, very lightly with the 800 grit sandpaper. Okay, I did the glass cleaner with the 800 grit sandpaper all the way across, and now I'm going to wipe this all off, and then I'm going to put on my first coat of color. And I did buy some tack cloth. It was my first time even hearing of tack cloth, I'll be honest. So tack cloth is actually pretty sticky when you feel it, and it's like, should I even use this on here? But yeah, it's definitely safe to use in here. So I'm going to just go over it really, really quick with some tack cloth, and this is good for getting any small little pieces off of it, anything microscopic or anything like that. So, all right, my first coat of color is going to go on. I have a spray can. This is the exact match for my paint code. If you don't know what your paint code is, you already, I'm sure, have your paint code already, but it's found on the inside of your door. It's a little paint code. Anyway, so I'm gonna do nice long strips on here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do probably little sections, and then build from there. This is my first coat. All right, I just put on my first can of base coat. My first coat of base coat from the can. I'm gonna let it dry, and then come back and do some more on it. All right, first coat is dry, and it feels dry to the touch. Yep, feels dry to the touch. So I'm gonna put on the second coat. All right, coming down here to check up on my work. And I got my light here. So I do see some spots, like along there, at the bottom too, right along there. I don't know how to fix that because this is my first time doing it. Like when you shine the light, like you see like obvious areas like at the bottom there. I'm gonna take my spray can, and just go over each of those areas once again. I mean, I don't know how to fix those. I don't know if this is my first time doing it, so I don't know why cause that. But anyway, I'm just gonna take my spray can, spray paint over them one more time, and then I'm gonna be trying the clear coat. So this is the clear coat brand that I'm using. It's got the little tab on top. You take that, just put it in the bottom, then you slam it down, and then it mixes. So this is the 2K. I have 2 cans of this. I plan on using 3 coats. So all the other videos I watched, you put a coat on, wait about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes or so. It should feel a little sticky. Put another coat on, wait 8 to 10 minutes approximately, and then you put your third coat on too. A lot of these videos did not recommend putting more than 3 coats on because you want the nice glossy shine. Anyway, so I'm gonna wait for my last coat to dry, my little touch-up coat of paint to dry, and then I'm gonna do this too. So as you can see, I ran into a little problem. Those streaks all through here, that looks like crap, and I have no idea how to get rid of them. I'm gonna try sanding with like 800 grit sandpaper, and then go over it again with the red paint, but that was a total surprise. I have no idea. It looks like crap, so I have no idea how to get rid of that. I'm just gonna try sanding over it, spray paint over it, and then I go from there. All right, so here's my experience. So as you can see, there are areas
like in there. It doesn't look good. I have put on all my coats of paint. I have got so much paint on here. I'm gonna try one more time to get these little areas that look kind of off compared to the other ones. Now I have noticed this, and once again, I'm a first timer, maybe you'll experience too. When I put my clear coat on, I have not put on clear coat on yet. But what I have done is gone over these areas a lot. I'm gonna do one more time, just put like a heavy spray can on there. And this is just lack of experience. So as you can see, like those little spots there. I think I need to do one, just like a little bit more on there, even like another layer. I've gone over it a lot, but I wanna be on the safe side. Once again, now when I do actually wipe it down, it kind of blends in. And when I wipe it down, it's like adding a layer of, I guess, moisture, whatever you want to call it. Like with a damp rag or whatever, or some like glass cleaner, then all kind of looks really good. I just don't know what to do. I don't want to take a chance on it. Maybe I don't need to put another layer of spray paint on like that area that's white, but I'm going to anyway. So it's one more time, and then I want to put my clear coat on. So I'm just gonna go heavy on the spray paint. And man, I've gone over this so many times with spray paint, but I'm gonna just keep going. So on my last painting, on the base coat, I did spray paint until it looked like there was hardly any spots. I wanted a nice clean, like overall, just nice red color to it. So I kept spray painting, and even went out and I bought 2 more cans of spray paint for it, just so I could have enough paint. So that was one lesson I learned. I did clear coat. I only needed 2 cans. My base paint coat, I did need up to 4 cans of it, just because I was on the safe side. I want a nice, thick, heavy base coat of red paint for my van. I was very happy with that part. So as you can see, it came out pretty nice. How did I do my clear coat? My clear coat, I don't have a video of it. I'll just tell you how I did my clear coat. My clear coat was kind of done the same fashion. Clear coat, you only really need 3 coats on there. So you only needed 2 cans. 2 cans was enough, but buy 3 just if you want to feel safe about it. But yeah, 3 coats was enough. I just kind of went over. I started off different area. Like I started off doing a section of my hood, like the bottom right. I did a section, and then when it looked like that was good, then I went and I did different coverage. So I would paint different sections with a coat, and then I would kind of do like the long stripes across, just kind of whatever it looked like it needed to have a nice clean finish. So is there an exact science to it? Yes and no from my experience now. Maybe the pros will say something different, but this van is 20 years old. I just wanted to look nicer at the end. I didn't want to be embarrassed when I drove up to someplace. And so that was my experience. So for the base coat, I put the base coat on very thick. I bought 4 cans for the hood, all in total. And I wanted to have a nice, once again, nice clean look to it. Or a nice thick, heavy base coat look to it. And for the clear coat, I only used 3 coats, and that was 2 cans. And I did sections of it, and then I would do like long sprays. So yeah, you'll kind of see it when you do yours. So good luck in your project. I'm happy with how mine turned out. And yeah, it was not bad. So hey, it can be done for first timers. Absolutely.